If you're in your 50s or 60s right now, I need you to pay close attention to the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share could be one of the most important things you hear this year about your health. Your kidneys are working right now. Every single minute, they filter about 1.3 liters of blood. They regulate your blood pressure, balance your minerals, remove waste, and activate vitamin D in your body. All of that, silently, without complaint, every minute of every day. And that silence is exactly the problem, because by the time your kidneys send you a real signal that something is wrong, swelling in the ankles, foam in the urine, persistent fatigue, pressure in the lower back, the damage is already significant. Most people in their 50s and 60s have lost 20 to 30% of their kidney function before a single symptom appears. Not because they did something dramatically wrong, but because of the slow, invisible accumulation of years of dietary habits, blood sugar changes, and the natural shifts that happen inside the aging kidney. This video is for educational purposes only. Always consult your doctor before making any health decisions. Today I am walking you through the top 5 foods that genuinely support kidney detoxification, specifically for adults in their 50s and 60s. Because the kidneys in a 55-year-old body behave very differently from those in a 30-year-old body, and the foods that help them are different too. I will also tell you about 2 foods that millions of people in their 50s eat every day thinking they are being healthy, while quietly increasing the burden on their kidneys every single time. Stay all the way through. Number 4 on this list is the one most people in their 50s and 60s completely miss, and in my experience, it is the most impactful one. What is happening inside your kidneys after 50? Your kidneys are not just a filter the way a coffee filter is a filter. They are living tissue made of roughly 1 million tiny functional units called nephrons. Think of each nephron as a microscopic processing plant. Blood flows in, the nephron keeps what the body needs and discards what needs to go, and the clean blood flows back out. Here is the age-specific piece that almost nobody explains in a routine appointment. After 40, you lose roughly 1 milliliter per minute of filtration capacity every single year. That is not a disease, that is biology. By your mid-60s, your kidneys may be filtering at 60 to 70% of what they did in your 30s, even if your blood work says normal. That declining capacity means everything you eat is being processed by a system running with less margin than it used to have. Then layer on the number 1 driver of kidney damage in the United States: insulin resistance and blood sugar dysregulation. Chronically elevated blood sugar inflames the tiny blood vessels, called glomeruli, that supply each nephron. These vessels are incredibly fine and incredibly sensitive. When blood sugar runs high for years, those vessels swell, thicken, and lose function. This is the same mechanism that causes blindness in diabetics, happening in your kidneys instead of your eyes. Add high blood pressure, which affects roughly 70% of adults in their 60s, and you are adding a second layer of damage onto already vulnerable vessels, accelerating the loss of kidney function with every single heartbeat. So when we talk about foods that detox the kidneys, we mean foods that do 3 things: reduce inflammation in those filtration vessels, support the body's waste clearance pathways without overloading a system with less reserve, and avoid adding to the mineral and protein waste burden a struggling kidney has to manage. With that in place, here is the list. Food number 1, garlic. I know you were expecting something more exotic, but take garlic seriously as a kidney protective food because the science behind it is genuinely strong and specifically relevant to what is happening inside the kidneys of someone in their 50s and 60s. Garlic contains a compound called allicin. When you crush or chop a clove, an enzyme activates and converts a precursor into allicin, which is why chopping matters. A whole unchopped clove produces almost none of it. Allicin has well-documented anti-inflammatory properties, meaning it directly reduces the inflammatory cascade that damages those fine filtration vessels inside the kidney. But garlic does something else that matters enormously for this age group. It has been shown in multiple randomized controlled trials to meaningfully lower blood pressure, the second major driver of kidney damage. One meta-analysis found garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.4 millimeters of mercury. Some blood pressure medications achieve reductions in a similar range. 8 points off your systolic takes real, measurable strain off your kidney vessels with every heartbeat. Garlic is also low in phosphorus, potassium, and sodium, the 3 things an impaired kidney struggles most to eliminate. It gives you genuine benefit without adding mineral burden. A 62-year-old patient with stage 2 chronic kidney disease once told me he thought garlic was just a flavoring. After adding 2 fresh crushed cloves daily, alongside other changes, his blood pressure dropped 11 points in 3 months. His nephrologist was genuinely pleased. The man told me he wished someone had explained this to him 20 years earlier. Practical note: crush or chop your garlic, then let it rest 5 to 10 minutes before cooking. That rest period allows the allicin to fully form before heat degrades it. Add it to olive oil, soups, vegetables, medicine that also makes food taste extraordinary. Food number 2, red bell peppers. Here is a counterintuitive fact that surprises most people I share it with. When adults in their 50s start thinking about kidney health, they reach for fruit, apples, oranges, grapes, and while some of those have value, they carry a sugar load that, if you have any insulin resistance, creates the blood sugar spikes that damage your kidneys in the first place. You're trying to put out a fire while pouring fuel on the other side of the room. Red bell peppers give you everything fruit offers in terms of kidney-friendly nutrients without the sugar problem. 100 grams of red bell pepper contains only 6 grams of carbohydrates and less than 4 grams of sugar. A medium apple contains roughly 14 grams of sugar per 100 grams. For someone in their 50s where insulin sensitivity has already declined, and most people in this age group are dealing with some degree of that, whether diagnosed or not, that difference matters at every single meal. Red bell peppers are also rich in vitamin C and carotenoids, including lycopene and beta-carotene, which act as antioxidants inside kidney tissue itself, neutralizing the reactive compounds that accumulate under chronic inflammatory stress. The kidney filters an enormous volume of blood daily and is constantly exposed to metabolic byproducts. Antioxidant protection is not optional here. It is armor for tissue that cannot easily repair itself. And red bell peppers are low in potassium, around 177 milligrams per 100 grams, which matters because as kidney function declines, the organ begins to struggle with potassium clearance. Elevated potassium at high enough levels causes dangerous heart rhythm disturbances. Red bell peppers let you eat a nutrient-dense, antioxidant-rich food without that concern. Food number 3, raspberries. Some fruits carry a sugar burden, but raspberries are a specific and important exception, and the reason goes deeper than sugar content alone. 1 cup of raspberries contains only 5 grams of sugar. That is less than a third of the sugar in a comparable serving of grapes or a medium apple. For a 55-year-old body where insulin sensitivity has declined by roughly 30% compared to young adulthood, that difference is the gap between a gentle glucose rise and an inflammatory spike. But raspberries also contain a class of polyphenols called L-gitannins. In the gut, these are converted into compounds called urolithins, and here is what makes this specifically relevant to people in their 50s and 60s. Urolithins support the mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside every cell, including kidney cells. After 50, mitochondrial function in cells declines. In kidney cells, that declining mitochondrial health is one of the reasons kidney tissue becomes less resilient and less capable of self-repair over time. Urolithins appear to support a cellular cleanup process called mitophagy, helping kidney cells maintain their own energy production and repair capacity. This is almost never discussed in conventional kidney diet advice, but it is exactly the kind of cellular-level support the kidney of someone in their 50s genuinely needs. Raspberries are also low in phosphorus, about 29 milligrams per 100 grams, keeping them safely within range even for people managing moderate kidney disease. Add them to plain Greek yogurt, pair them with walnuts in the morning, or blend with water and fresh ginger for a simple kidney-supportive drink. Food number 4, cabbage. This is the most overlooked food on this list, and in my experience, one of the most powerfully protective foods for kidney health in the 50 to 65 age group. Cabbage is not glamorous, it does not trend, but the science behind it for kidney function is genuinely compelling, and I want you to understand exactly why. First, the numbers. Cabbage is exceptionally low in all 3 minerals a declining kidney struggles to clear. Per 100 grams, roughly 170 milligrams of potassium, 26 milligrams of phosphorus, and 18 milligrams of sodium. Among the lowest figures in any commonly available vegetable. Someone in their late 50s or 60s with declining filtration can eat cabbage generously without loading the kidney with minerals it cannot process. But cabbage is not just safe, it is actively therapeutic. Cabbage is rich in compounds called glucosinolates. During digestion, these break down into isothiocyanates, which activate a pathway in the body called NRF2. Think of NRF2 as a master switch that signals your body to produce its own antioxidant enzymes, glutathione, superoxide, dismutase, and others. This is not delivering antioxidants from outside. This is triggering your own body to manufacture its internal defense system from scratch. In kidney tissue specifically, NRF2 activation has been shown in nephrology research to reduce oxidative stress and slow the progression of chronic kidney disease. Your body has the ability to protect its own kidneys, and cabbage helps activate that ability. Fermented cabbage, sauerkraut, adds another dimension entirely. Fermentation produces beneficial bacteria and short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, which reduces systemic inflammation throughout the body. Research into what is now called the gut-kidney axis shows a meaningful connection between gut microbiome health and kidney function. For adults in their 50s and 60s whose gut microbiome diversity is naturally declining, sauerkraut supports both systems at once. A 58-year-old woman I worked with arrived with a filtration rate of 52 bar stage 3A chronic kidney disease. She was scared. One of the first changes she made was replacing regular side dishes with steamed and fermented cabbage several times per week. Over 18 months, her filtration rate stabilized and her inflammatory markers declined consistently. Her nephrologist described the outcome as better than expected. Do not underestimate cabbage. Food number 5, olive oil. Most people in their 50s do not think about oil in the context of kidney health, but extra virgin olive oil belongs firmly on this list. And the reason is one of the most important things I can share with this age group. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal, which works in the body similarly to ibuprofen, inhibiting the same inflammatory enzymes COX-1 and COX-2. But here is the distinction that changes everything. Ibuprofen, naproxen, and other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, the pain relievers that enormous numbers of people in their 50s and 60s rely on for joint pain, back pain, and headaches, are among the most common causes of accelerating kidney damage in this age group. Long-term NSAID use reduces blood flow to the kidneys and damages the filtering tissue. It accelerates the exact kidney decline that is already happening naturally with age. Oleocanthal from olive oil gives you a real, meaningful anti-inflammatory effect without that kidney-damaging mechanism. You reduce the inflammation that harms the kidney without poisoning the organ you're trying to protect. For someone in their 50s who has been taking ibuprofen regularly for years, that is information worth sitting with seriously. Extra virgin olive oil is also rich in polyphenols that protect the lining of blood vessels, including the tiny, fragile vessels inside your kidney's filtration units. For the 50 to 65 body where arterial stiffness is increasing, this vascular protection is not a minor benefit. It is central to the whole picture. And olive oil contains 0 potassium, 0 phosphorus, 0 sodium, a fat that delivers genuine kidney benefit with no mineral burden whatsoever. Use extra virgin olive oil as your primary cooking fat. Drizzle it raw over finished dishes. The polyphenols are partially heat sensitive, so some uncooked use preserves more of the active compounds. 2 foods to watch after 52 foods deserve an honest conversation before the summary, because both appear on healthy eating lists and both need more caution for this age group. The first is bananas. Frequently recommended as a heart-healthy potassium source, valid for a healthy kidney, but a medium banana contains approximately 422 milligrams of potassium. If your filtration rate has declined into stage 3 and your kidney is already struggling to clear potassium efficiently, regular banana consumption may be pushing potassium toward levels that create genuine cardiac risk. If your eGFR is below 45, talk directly with your doctor about high potassium foods. The second is processed protein supplements, aggressively marketed to people in their 50s and 60s, and the pitch is compelling. But many protein powders use lower quality protein that the body does not fully convert into tissue. The unused portion gets broken down for energy, producing nitrogen waste, urea, and creatinine that must be filtered by the kidneys. A declining kidney pushed daily with a heavy nitrogen load from supplements is under unnecessary strain. Prioritize whole food protein, eggs, fish, poultry, before anything that comes in a tub. Your action summary. 1. Add 2 cloves of fresh crushed garlic to at least 1 meal daily. Crush. Rest 5 to 10 minutes, then cook or use raw. 2. Replace high-sugar fruits with red bell peppers as your primary source of vitamin C and antioxidants. Raw, roasted, or lightly sautéed. 3. Make raspberries your daily fruit. 1 cup at breakfast paired with plain yogurt or walnuts supports kidney cells at the mitochondrial level without a blood sugar spike. 4. Bring cabbage into your meals 3 to 4 times per week. Add sauerkraut as a side dish or condiment regularly for the NRF2 and gut kidney benefits. 5. Switch to extra virgin olive oil as your primary fat. Use it for cooking and raw over finished dishes. One change that reduces inflammation without adding any mineral burden. 6. Ask your doctor for an eGFR test at your next appointment if you have not had one recently. A simple blood test. It tells you your filtration rate. Most people in their 50s have no idea what their number is, and they absolutely should. 7. Cut back on processed foods and refined sugar. Not as vague advice, but because insulin resistance is the primary driver of the silent kidney damage advancing in tens of millions of adults in this age group right now. 8B. If you take ibuprofen or naproxen regularly for pain, talk to your doctor about kidney-safe alternatives. This is one of the most overlooked accelerators of kidney decline in the 50s and 60s, and it almost never comes up in a routine appointment.